The City of Texarkana, Arkansas Board of Directors. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Just a couple of housekeeping notes. If you've got your cell phone on you, would you please put it in vibrate mode? And if you need to have a conversation with someone, we'd appreciate it if you would take that out in the hall. And as always, be respectful of those that are speaking. And I'll go ahead and ask Jenny to do the roll call.
Director Brewer.
Here.
Director Jewell.
Here.
Director Roberts.
Here.
Director Harris.
Here.
Director Hollibush.
Here.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Here.
And Mayor Brown is absent. At
At this time, we'll have an invocation given by Director Brewer, followed up by a pledge of allegiance led by Interim Police Chief Ed Chataway. If you'd stand.
Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for watching over us, Heavenly Father. We ask that you continue to give us the guidance and direction, Heavenly Father, and continue to just lead us in the direction you want us to go for the betterment of our citizens. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. At this time, we'll go into citizens' communication. Each card that I've been given, I'll go in order. There's 5 minutes, so if you would just be respectful of the 5 minutes, the timer that you have, and I'm going to call these up as I received them. Henry Stein. Mr. Henry Stein, come on down. If you would, Mr. Stein, would you just state your name and address for the record, please?
Henry Stein, 80 South Valley Drive, Texarkana, Arkansas. I live in Ward 1, Lakewood Estates. I'd like to thank Terry for helping with the roads out that way. The roads are starting to improve greatly. I used to live in the county, and I moved into Lakewood Estates when it was a county. And I've been in the city limits for approximately 20 years. The road in front of my house, when it was a county road, they graded it just about once a month. And about a year ago, the city came in and put a little gravel, graded the road because it was getting so bad, and that's all I've ever seen. I'd like to thank y'all and ask about more roads being paved in that direction. We do the best we can with what we have, and I know y'all do too. You only have but so much money you can spend.
Yes, sir.
I've got one other question, and it may not set up with y'all. I've got my tax paperwork, the millage and tax for Texarkana. And I noticed the other day, there's a city tax I pay, and then there's a county road tax of 40%. I just don't know how long this has been going on. I never paid much attention. Are y'all aware that we in the city limits pay 40% to the county? And you may not be aware of it. It might be something y'all have to look at. I don't know if there's a timetable on it when it's...
I'll direct you to, you going to go ahead and answer?
I believe that 40%, some of that comes back to the city depending on where you
does.
live. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, a small portion.
A small portion of that does come back to the city, Mr. Stein.
Okay.
But we are aware of the tax that's on there. We all pay it as well.
Well, okay.
Well,
Nothing new.
I do have a question. Was this something that was an agreement like 20 years ago when this annexation took place?
Yes, sir. That's been in place for a very long time. Now, they just went up on the millage rate, so we're actually receiving more for that now because we were only receiving $100,000 total for the year, whereas now we're going to receive roughly $600,000 or so for
Is
streets.
there a reason we're paying, why would we pay any county tax.
Yeah, I agree. That's been in place for a long time.
So is that something that could be amended by both? I mean, we would have to, the quorum court and the board look into that?
I need to get with Josh and figure out how exactly you go about that, but, yeah, it's certainly something we could explore.
It may work out to a wash, one hand washes the other. I don't know. I just thought I'd bring it up.
It was before our time, Mr. Stein, but it's a good question. And I think you've got two good folks over there that are going to explore it. As the city manager said, he'll get with the city attorney and we'll explore about that, okay?
Yeah, I wouldn't think that we would be exempt from the county taxes because we live in Texarkana, because Miller County Texas County is part of Miller County. So I think we're subject to that tax as well as the Texarkana special tax.
Okay, I just assumed if y'all had the money, y'all could spend it wisely too.
Well, we got your number and we'll have somebody contact you and give you a good ruling on that. How about that?
Thank y'all for hearing from me.
Thank you, Mr. Stein.
Yes, sir.
All right, next up, I've got Della Johnson. Ms. Johnson, would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Della Johnson. My address is 502 Baden Street, Texarkana, Arkansas. And what else? That's it? So-
Your PIN number to your bank, I'm just kidding.
0620. No, I have a complaint / concern about the Bot State Deputy Clerk's office. I made like 6 trips down to the Bot State within 2 weeks to obtain a small claims form. On October the 8th, I was told the staff there was unable to accommodate me because the clerk, Debbie, was out because she only works Mondays and Wednesdays, which is part-time. On October the 9th, which was Wednesday, I returned to the office to collect the form. On the 14th was a holiday. On October 16th, which was Wednesday, I returned to the Bi-State to submit my form. I was informed that Debbie was out because her 90-year-old mom had fallen and broken her ankle. I need to return this. They told me I need to return on Thursday, and I will be able to get this processed. Well, Thursday was her off day. So my question was to her, why would I return Thursday? She only works Mondays and Wednesdays. So they guaranteed me that this paperwork would be taken care of on Thursday, but it wasn't. So on the 17th, I returned, and I was informed that the clerk, Travis Steen, that Debbie was out and she had a illness that I'd rather not say what it was, and that I needed to come back. And she wanted to explain to me what that was. At this point, I asked to speak to a manager, which is Melanie Braden. She is the deputy court clerk. She came out and informed me that she had no knowledge of how to process my form and that I would have to wait until Debbie returned. So my question to her was, why is Debbie the only person in this office that can only do this one particular job? It's a very simple form to complete. And so her and I, we went back and forth with this thing. And so I got her job description, Melanie's, and it says the clerk duties include, but not limited to, filing, as she said, and receipt payment. She said she couldn't give me a receipt because she didn't know how to do the receipt form. And it also says that she is responsible for communicating necessary information regarding my case, which she couldn't help me do that. And it also says she must have the ability to communicate and be courteous with the public. So she told me that if I had a complaint about her, that I need to call the city manager's office, which I did. And basically, the city manager told me that this is how we do it down here. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean. We don't have the customer's best interest in mind, or we don't give them what they need. We just put them on hold. I'm not sure what that means. So I'm a little confused with this is how we do it down here. I don't know what that means. So this is my concern, like the lack of customer service. And if one person can only do one job, then there should be some cross-training or something in that office, because this is just unacceptable. I made like 5 trips for one form just to file a small claims form. I had to go back and forth, which hand me the form at the front desk. It's so simple, I can fill it out myself, or maybe everybody can, but it's simple to explain how to fill it out instead of going back back and forth, and this lady only work part-time. So if she work part-time, maybe they need to put somebody in that slot while she's not there. If the lady were to pass away, then what happens? The office gonna just shut down? It's crazy.
I do have a question for you.
Go ahead.
I talked to you earlier, when you came up to the second floor. My question, did you get it,
I got it today.
you got it resolved?
Today.
The service part you got resolved?
The form, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, very good.
And, yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
and I did talk to, what's your name?
Della.
Miss Della the other day, and I basically said, no, this would be the best way to, do your agreements here, because that's something that I didn't know, that, one person just was doing one job, and if that's the case, I do think something needs to be done as to cross-train that, the issue that what she had. So, and she did explain the same thing to me the other day on the phone, about what she had going on.
That's crazy.
It is. I agree. It makes no sense. How can you serve the public if there's nobody there to serve you? What's the point?
We'll follow it up, Ms. Dell.
Yeah, good idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next I've got Michelle Kegley.
Yes, I appreciate you hearing us this evening. My question and what I have to ask is over the Lakewood Estates area also. We appreciate the work that has been done on it so far. People really appreciate it and are very thankful for it. And this was something that was brought to my attention last week when I was paying our property tax, because my husband and I have lived in the county for so long that we finally moved to town as I inherited this piece of land. And as I was paying the property tax, I watched it really close. I noticed that doesn't look like that should be there. So I talked to the tax assessor and I questioned, why, what is this? And she said, I don't know, but she said, I'm going to look into it. And then I was also told in the judge's office that there was a 60% for the city over 20 years ago and a 40% agreement. And I said, I live in the county, and I said, our roads are in pretty good shape down there. But I said, our city streets are really in bad shape. I said, maybe could we get this readjusted so maybe we could get some help with it? But it's gotten to be a safety issue also. We have a ditch that's on our road. It's about 6 foot deep. A boy fell in it last 2 weeks ago. And so we're thinking, okay, this is getting serious. I have some pictures here of the streets. And if there was an emergency, like an ambulance or a fire truck to get in there, they need to get in there pretty quick. Well, that's not quite the way it is in this area. You've got to go slow to get back in here. But I would just like to express, for the community's concern about fixing the streets in this area. And I have been told over and over again, they said, you're going to go nowhere with that. You're not going to get anywhere with that. So you might as well just give up. And I said, well, let's just try it out first and see what happens with it. So, but my question is like Mr. Stein's. Maybe we could get these taxes where we could help us out to fix our city streets in this area, because it's a beautiful place. But the funds are just not there. But we need to maybe kind of change it after maybe 20 years. if that was a possibility. But who is it that I need to give the pictures
You can
to?
bring them up here, and we can pass them through the board members. By the way, this is Michelle Kegley, and her address is 91 South Valley Drive. Well, I forgot to tell you, and that's my fault. Is your husband Jim Bob?
Yes,
Well, it's good to see you. It's been a long
it's
time.
nice to see you. This is where we live at. This is Lakewood Estate.
This doesn't look like a bad road.
Nope, that's not. I wanted you to see the beautiful.
Oh, I know this area well. Thank
I
you,
want to
Michelle.
tell y'all too, she has held one of my citizens communication meetings at her home. And we had 50 or 60 people there, 54. And, I think a lot of it is you feel neglected and just passed over, and that's truly not the case. I mean, we're working every day. Tyler has really helped us in that area, and good things are going to happen out there. And
We have seen things that have started to happen because the street manor has been done.
mhm.
And the little area at the back has been done, and people were very impressed by, I believe I may have seen it down there one day.
Sure, yes,
ma'am.
We had a culvert that had to be fixed 3 times, but they went after it and they did it, and they didn't quit until it was fixed. And that was something, it was by Miss Kemp, I'm sure you remember Kemp?
I do.
She passed away in April of this year, but an ambulance had to get up there to get to her. And there was a big place in the street where you had to go around it to get up to it. There were quite a few older people in this area, and a lot of them don't have kids or family in there, so they rely upon emergency vehicles.
Absolutely.
to get to them.
I just remind you, we got 6 wards, 1 pot of money. All of us have our own wards, but I will say Terry's done a marvelous job with you guys out there. I think you guys have had more road work done on his 4 years than I've seen out there in probably the last 10 years. And so I think he's to be commended for that, and I know that Terry's going to continue to champion that effort for you.
Like I said, too, I'm very appreciative of it.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, we'll bring the pictures back to you in a little while. Tell Jim Bob I said hi.
I certainly will.
Does anybody else wish to address the board? If not, these are all the cards I've got. Anyone else want to address the board?
I do have a statement I'd like to make that was emailed to me. I think it was emailed to all of us. But this is in reference to a light study that's going on at Pinehurst and 9th Street, which is Highway 82. And this is from Ms. Courtney Blair. Ward 3. It's on the edge, depends on what side of the street you're on. It says, "Greetings. I would like for this to be read during citizen communication portion of the October 21st City Board meeting. My name is Courtney Blair, and I'm a concerned resident of Ward 3. On Friday, October 11th, I observed signage indicating that a traffic signal at the intersection of Pinehurst and East 9th Street is under consideration for removal. Although the presence of these signs denotes a study and does not guarantee removal, I'm deeply apprehensive about the potential decision to eliminate this traffic signal. The intersection experiences significant traffic volume, including school and city buses and many walkers. Despite the posted speed limit of 35 miles per hour, not all motorists adhere to this regulation. The removal of this traffic signal, leaving an open expanse of road until the subsequent signal, raises concerns about safety and the likelihood of an accident. Numerous incidents, including collisions and near misses, have been witnessed at the intersection of 12th and Hickory, where a traffic signal was removed recently. I too have been involved in an accident at this location where a vehicle disregarded the stop sign and collided with my own vehicle at a high rate of speed. Furthermore, patrons of Tri-State Iron and Metal will continue to obstruct the lane leading to their establishment without due consideration for other traffic. The removal of the traffic signal is anticipated to exacerbate traffic congestion in the area. I firmly believe that alternative measures should be explored and implemented to positively address the challenges in this location. While it is plausible that other traffic signals are under similar scrutiny, although no additional signs have been observed, I maintain the conviction that the removal of this particular signage would yield adverse rather than beneficial outcomes. Thank you for your time, Courtney.
All right.
Courtney, do you have anything to add?
Oh, is Courtney here?
I am.
Hey, Courtney.
I was at a parent meeting, so.
Anyone else want to address the board?
I do. Can I follow up on that? Tyler, as far as that concerned, that is a state highway there. What role do we play in that?
We have to maintain the signals, but ultimately, that's the highway department, whatever the study comes back with, whether it's warranted or not, we'll have to take it from there. But all of our signals citywide are in bad need of upgrade, and those upgrades are going to be incredibly costly. So over the past, I don't know, 4, maybe 5 years, we've looked at see what signals were no longer warranted, and so that we could remove those. We removed one down here at 5th and Hazel, maybe. We removed one on 12th Street that she mentioned. We removed one at 10th and State Line. We've done a study on another one on the north side of town that did not warrant a removal, so it stayed. But I've received numerous complaints over this signal over the last 6-7 years since I've been here. So this one was just next on the list to request a study. So we requested the study from RDOT, and we'll look to see what they come back with.
Do we have any other signals that are under study right now?
No, we do not. We've been doing about one a year, probably. We did the 5th and Hazel one last year.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how long does it take before that study comes back?
It varies. So I actually originally requested this back in May, but it's just now starting because you had to wait for school to open back up, so they had an accurate representation. So they do a very thorough study.
Director Harris, you got?
Yes,
So what you said.
Hold on, Courtney, would you come up to the podium, please? State your name and address, please.
For the record.
We don't yell for the crowd.
Courtney Blair, 2202 East 12th Street. And you mentioned that complaints were done on that street signal. I mean, what complaints would warrant for a study to be done?
Being stopped there and no traffic coming in the opposite directions, being stopped for an excess amount of time.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Director Harris?
yes, when I first saw that, I guess I've been contacted because of that study, and I also put a picture on Facebook, and I got some response from that, and I also talked to Tyler about it. But what I did, I had called Hope, ARDOT, and Arkansas Department of Transportation, and I first asked them who was requesting the study, which they said it's the city.
Right.
So my thing is, if the city requesting a study, then I call Tyler and ask him what was the rationale behind that. And from my understanding, what he's saying is more like a money thing, that it's gonna cost $40,000 to do that. But I'm saying that I don't see that, but I don't see that that need to be moved because based on the comments. And I was present at that stop when the last wreck was a 3-car accident there. I was present and I saw, it was a 3-car, a white car, a gray car, and a black SUV that was there. And I like I said, but also I would like to have a public, any way we can get a public hearing on that, before, is decided to move, so you can get more public input. I know this is just one person coming here, which I'm glad you showed up and talked about it. But a lady asked me this past Sunday about that, over there at the Villas, about, she didn't think that need to be moved. Villas is on the corner of Preston Street and Oak Street.
Yes.
She also asked me what's the reason behind that. I told
You know, we're not doing anything with that With the, you talking about the Oak
No,
Street signal?
no, she asked me what's the reason behind the one at the Ninth
Okay.
Street. She also saw that, and she would ask me, I said, well, I guess, I said, from talking to Arkansas Department of Transportation, it's the city that's behind this.
Right.
So, I'm not for it being moved, I just tell you straight up.
Right.
I think that's why I told, Tyler that I don't see myself, getting behind that bandwagon, and the comments I got from people on Facebook, I haven't seen nobody else that's for it, but for getting on that bandwagon or having that removed. But as you said, it's gonna be going on traffic, because you don't have nothing slowing the traffic down if you do remove that light. Once you remove that light, I don't know what the speed limit is, if it's
35.
35?
It is.
I don't see nothing that's gonna slow the traffic down there, you know, and then like what she said, and the same thing a lady told me, that light there give Tri-State a reason to leave out of Tri-State and be able to get into Tri-State. They say if that light gone, you ain't gonna have nobody able to leave Tri-State right between the Golden Lady and that piece of property right there. And that's another reason why they think that does not need to be removed. So, I don't know what the traffic county, but there is some type of pole, next to it is not the regular line going across the street, that tell how many cars, it's an air pressure thing. I didn't see that on the street.
I haven't seen anything
But
either.
I
That was
seen
another
a
thing I was
line
gonna
sticking
ask.
up, on a pole across there. Now, I don't know if that's some type of indicator.
They utilize many different kinds of traffic counters.
So do we need to ask to have a public hearing if, in this process, to make sure it don't get removed? Or can the citizens just say, hey, I'm getting too much feedback on this, leave it alone, or you seeing it from a money standpoint, Steve?
No, it's both. Look, the reason I initially looked at this was from a money standpoint. At one time, we had 16 signals in the city. If we have to upgrade every single one of those, you're talking about $750,000. That's a lot of money. So I'm doing my best to be financially responsible for the city. If we have a signal that's no longer warranted, and RDOT does a very thorough study, then why would we as the city spend the money to upgrade that signal if it's not warranted? Now, I'm not saying that the signal is not warranted. It very well could come back. This is simply just a study. It's just the beginning process. They do a very thorough study, and they very well could come back and say, absolutely not, this is warranted, and nothing will happen.
But you don't think spending whatever amount of money it takes to improve a traffic signal as opposed to removing one and risking multiple wrecks, even
The
a death? Because,
accidents-
the accident that I had on 12th and Hickory could have been deadly. And so when I saw that sign the other day, it kind of did something to me, because it's just like, that's probably the last place that doesn't need a traffic signal. Well, needs to go without a traffic signal right there. A couple of days later, I saw a car just blow straight through the red light, like nothing, like it wasn't even there. So it's just like, I honestly do not, and especially with it not being any sidewalks over there, it's not good for pedestrians that's walking that way. Like I said, school buses, the city bus goes through there. And like I said, I think it'll be more of a benefit for Tri-State, because they'll have that lane open to them all day long, and they can continue to leave all the debris in the street, and that's another situation. But I honestly, wholeheartedly do not think that, I don't even see why it was even in question to get that signal light removed, so.
I have not spoken with Tri-State. I've got no idea what their feelings are on it. They haven't contacted me, I haven't contacted them, so I've got no idea on that. We'll look and see what this study reveals, and if it's close, they do a very thorough study. The accidents are taken into account, pedestrians, all of that is taken into account. I'll review it, go through it, and, if it's even remotely close, I wouldn't remove the signal. And I'm not saying that even if it is warranted, I absolutely will remove it. but I certainly want to take that into account.
Right,
But
so if it's not removed, are you then going to put the money into getting it upgraded or whatever it is?
we're going to have to at some point. I mean, we've got multiple signals right now. We've got one down at Forest and East Street that we consistently have problems. We've got one that's been in flash on, up here on 7th for, gosh, most of the year.
Yes, it has.
That signal is going to cost $20,000 just to replace the parts that are in it right now. That's not even an upgrade. The one down on East Street is the same issue. We've got to get our signals upgraded at some point, and we're going to have to chip away at it. So certainly, yes, that's an option, is to upgrade the signal. But I'm looking at it on a grand scale, on multiple levels, so.
And one more thing.
Yes, sir, Director Harris.
Since that is a per se Arkansas Department of Transportation, role or maybe signal, won't they be a part of getting the upgrade? And then my other thing is, somewhere down the line, that light need to be there because I was trying to get it where that light could put some flashers on the side. They'll let you know when the railroad train is stopping down there at the, on Pinehurst Street and Drone Street, right at the rail crossing. So that's another reason why I don't think it needs to be moved, which I'm trying to get with some people and get, I guess, money, some other things done so they can get done because that would be a good spot to put a light at, to let you know that the train is blocking the railroad, so.
Yeah, certainly. Every single one of these things will be taken into account, even y'all's feedback, absolutely.
I got a question. If the study by the state reveals that it's not warranted, will the state issue an order that be removed, or will it be mandated?
No, not that I'm aware of. That's never happened before, which anytime they've come back with the study since I've been here that the signal wasn't warranted, we did remove it. But no, I don't believe there'd be any reason that they would order it to be removed. Like I said, the study was initiated by the city, by me. So I don't see any reason why the state would come back if the signal's not warranted and say you have to remove this signal.
Do we pay for those studies?
No.
Thank you, Ms. Courtney.
I have
Thank-
one question.
Yes, sir.
On those time studies, do they subpoena, do they subpoena, or the railroad, transportation department, do they subpoena those, I guess, recs and all those different police records to evaluate just how many accidents has happened at that
Yes,
location?
they keep up with all of traffic incidents and all of that. Yes, sir.
So all that's going to be taken into account?
Yes, sir.
in the study?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Moving right along, I've got two proclamations that we're going to read tonight. The first one is First Responder Appreciation Day for October 28, 2024. Whereas individuals, both career and volunteer from police, fire, emergency medical services, search and rescue, and other organizations in the public safety sector come together as first responders to aid the public in the event of emergency. And whereas first responders risk their own safety and personal property in the execution of their duties to protect every day. Whereas first responders are the first line of defense for the public against all threats, both domestic and foreign. Whereas first responders stand in readiness to come to the aid of citizens of Texarkana, Arkansas 24 hours a day. And whereas first responders are a vital part of our community, prepared to act on cases of emergency and volunteering in our school and community organization, now therefore be it resolved that I, Jeff L. Hart, Assistant Mayor of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim October 28, 2024 as First Responder Appreciation Day in the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, and I ask all citizens of this community to join with the board in celebrating and supporting our first responders. Accepting this proclamation, Tyler. I have another proclamation we're going to read, and it's for Business Appreciation Month for November 2024. Whereas the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, and our citizens recognize and greatly appreciate the contributions of local businesses to overall strength, character, and well-being of our city, whereas residents of Texarkana as well as visitors to our city benefit daily through the variety of services, products, and other accommodations provided by businesses located throughout our city. Whereas our local businesses, from the largest to the smallest, provide employment, wages, benefits, and economic stability to thousands of employees and their families. Whereas residents of our city benefit daily from the business sector's countless acts of charity and support for community projects and nonprofit programs that reach out to every part of our population. Whereas Business Appreciation Month in Texarkana, Arkansas, provides an opportunity for our city and its citizens to recognize and celebrate the contributions that local businesses make in our daily lives. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jeff Hart, Assistant Mayor of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2024 as Business Appreciation Month in the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, and ask all citizens of this community to join with me and the Board of Directors in celebrating the richness, diversity, and success of our business community. Accepting this proclamation to be Director Harris. And I think we can give a round of applause to all of our large and small businesses. All right, that takes us into our consent agenda. On our consent agenda tonight, we've got several things. First, we've got an approval of the minutes of the regular meeting for October 7th, 2024. We also have an adopt a resolution amending the FY 2024 budget. And item number 5 has been asked to be taken off the agenda by Director Harris, removed from the consent. So we've got items 3 and 4. Item 4 was adopt a resolution amending the budget and the Public Works budget to include additional funding for Miller County property tax revenue for roads and the expense for road improvements by the Public Works Director, Interim Director Tracy Lee. So those are the two things on our consent agenda. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda tonight?
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? And the consent agenda passes. Director Harris, item number 5.
Oh, was he coming? Yeah, just a comment to Adam, basically. It's not nothing I'm saying that I'm voting against this per se. What it is that I just want you to be aware that there's other park in the city. You know, not too long ago, I sent some information about Bramwell Park up there, the baseball field. And I know we finna spend, almost $500,000 on this, or what?
No, sir, $266,000.
Okay, but did we approve?
It was approved through the A&P Commission.
Okay, but did we just approve spending, 200 something, then y'all was trying to get another $250,000 grant for some playground equipment, or that's something different?
This was what we were trying to get the grant for. We did not get the grant. So
Okay.
A&P gave us $267,
Okay.
and that's what we're using it for.
Okay, but the point I'm just trying to bring out and just make that there's, like I said, there's other parts
Yes,
within the city, and I just noticed, you know, I am not saying that this does not need to be done, but I know Bramwell Park, and then I know down there Ernest Hill Park, they was talking about updating it, you know, and you could be halfway there, because when the water company just came there and put the pipes there in, we thought maybe you can extend the pipes on out and cover that up, and you can extend that park all the way on over back to that curve back there. I can't think of the name of the road back there, all the way back heading toward north to the railroad track. But the point I'm just trying to make is I just want to bring forth the notice that there's other part, and I'd like to see something done to the other part in the neighborhood other than just over there, you know, because I thought we were going to be spending $500,000 over there, but I see it's $250,000. But regardless, I'm not saying, like I said, that does not need to be done. I'm going to vote for this, but just to let you know, about that, and I thought too, you said one time you were gonna put another deck across there at Grammar Park, cause I know I just had a fishing derby there this past Saturday, and about 29 people showed up with fishing derby. I had catfish.
You had a good fishing derby.
Yeah. So
When we cooking those, Director?
you got the
There's still
people-
some in there too, if
Yeah,
you wanna go catch
They
them.
put almost 450 pounds of catfish in Grammar Pond, so that's the point I was just trying to bring out. But thank you.
I have a question. Do we have a foresight in the future about getting it on the list that perhaps A&P could look
Yes,
at?
Senator Park's on the list to add a playground. A&P approved the money for that. Also, at Bramble, upgrade to the basketball court, new paint. And I'm looking at fencing there at the baseball field too, to redo that.
All right, looking forward to it.
I got, I noticed on here, it may be somewhere else, that this wasn't the lowest bid.
No, it wasn't. This, what we asked for was a design, build, and install. So we don't have to necessarily go with the lowest bid. We can go with the best look, the best piece of equipment.
Well, what was that? Is it the better look, the better, the what? I mean,
It's
you
a
didn't-
mixture of all, the look, the service, the warranty. It's a mixture of all of it.
All right,
And game time is one of the top playground.
Is it explained in here why, I mean, it'd be nice to know why it wasn't chosen, why the lowest bidder isn't chosen. I mean, I think the usual practice is you kind of let us, or let everybody know why
Right.
the lowest wasn't accepted. I would like to know that up front, why we're spending an extra $6,000 or $7,000.
Like I said, it has to do with service and
So
the
y'all-
quality of the equipment.
So y'all, you have experience with this
Yes,
Cunningham?
Yes.
You don't have any experience with
AB. AB Creative.
ACS?
I have experience with ACS.
How about Playwell?
Playwell,
Group.
not so much. I don't have any experience with them.
Did they have on the invoice, it's got Charlotte, North Carolina, but on the list of bids, it's got Rogers.
Cunningham's in Rogers, yes.
So-
Cunningham Recreation is in Rogers,
Okay.
yes. They have an office there in Rogers.
I think that came up about someone local that could give us safety and a quality
Right.
product. Yeah, I think that came up in our meeting we had with A&P.
There's quite a wide difference in the quality of this playground equipment. So, I mean, you've got all these different bidders turning in different manufacturers' equipment and stuff. Game Time, which is the one that Cunningham is going with, they're very high quality. We have purchased some of the lesser, the cheaper equipment before. It does not work out well. We're constantly working on it and welding pieces and,
Well, I may be missing those explanations, but that's what I'm
Yes,
looking
sir.
for when I'm
Yes.
seeing those kind of things.
yes, sir.
Well, Tyler, just an in general question. On anything that we take bids for, do we give any type of incentive or discounts to local companies?
We don't give any discount per se, but we certainly look to local first. Now, there's nobody local here
Correct,
that
correct.
does this type of work, but yes, we certainly prefer local. And we're not required to go with the low bid, especially with this type of bidding process. So this bidding process is a little bit different than what I would normally do for, say, a street or something. Whereas a street, we hire an engineer, they produce the plans, then we put that out to bid for a contractor. This is the engineering and everything involved. State statute says that if you go with the design-build procurement method, you select based upon qualifications.
That means our Parks Department stands back, they put it up, the kids play on it.
Yeah,
If
right.
there's a
Yes, sir.
problem, they come fix it.
That's right, yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and with playground equipment especially, with Adam's experience, this has been the better route to go. We've tried to go the other route, and it hasn't worked out like we'd like.
Well, Adam, we appreciate all you do through the vetting process that we did with A&P. we know that we can't compromise safety.
Right.
And so there's no dollar amount that's for our kids. We have to maintain a good safety product for the playground.
Any other discussion? I'd like to remind the board that this is a resolution, and I'd instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas after proper advertisement, Cunningham Recreation submitted a bid in the amount of $266,117.18 for the purpose of construction and installation of an inclusive playground at the Texarkana Recreation Center. And whereas $267,000 was allocated and is available from the Advertising and Promotion Commission, which awarded the funds at its October 18, 2023 meeting. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the city manager is authorized to enter into a contract with Cunningham Recreation for the purposes set forth above with the funding from the sources so indicated. Pass and approve this 21st day of October 2024.
The city attorney has read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts.
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Brown, Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the resolution passes. That takes us into our regular agenda, and that takes us to item number 6, and this is to consider the following action concerning the 2024 Burn Justice Assistant Grant Program. And we are going to conduct a public hearing to allow citizen input regarding the use of Burn Justice Assistant Grant Program monies for the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Amy Smith. I'm not the CID secretary, but I'm the grants administrator at the police department. And this is the same grant that we've applied for since 2017. Yeah. So I'm just here to answer questions if you have them.
So does anybody have any questions?
I don't have any question.
Any questions? Thank you very much. That takes us to adopting a resolution granting permission to submit the 2024 application authorizing the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding and an interlocal agreement with Miller County regarding the Burn Justice Assistant Grant. Thank you, Amy. I'll ask that this is a resolution, and I'll ask the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department has been receiving funds through the Edward Byrne Justice Assistance Grant Program each year and is requesting permission to submit the 2024 application and to enter into an interlocal agreement with Miller County concerning the division of funds received from the grant. And whereas TAPD and Miller County will split a $19,000 grant from the 2024 Byrne Justice Assistance Grant Program and must agree to a disparate certification resolution before either agency can receive the grant. And whereas TAPD has agreed to receive $12,666 as their share, leaving Miller County with $6,334, an approximate 66.67, 33.33% split. And whereas TAPD is proposing that the city's share of the funds be used to fund the costs associated with purchasing bulletproof vests for its officers. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department is authorized and directed to submit the 2024 application under the Edward Byrne Justice Assistance Grant Program to execute the interlocal agreement with Miller County to split the grant money as set out above and to use the grant money for the purposes set forth herein. Pass and approve this 21st day of October 2024.
So the city attorney has read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt. Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the resolution passes. That takes us to item number 7, which is adopting an ordinance waiving competitive bidding requirements and authorizing the purchase of new Motorola RMS CAD program called Command Central. And I would turn it over to Interim Police Chief Ed Shadoway.
Good evening, y'all. A couple years ago, as y'all know, Central Records Communication had purchased a Motorola Flex program for our records, RMS report system, and CAD system. We were under impression that we were going to get this program in that process. A couple weeks ago, it was discovered that this was not in a contract. This program will greatly assist our criminal investigation division and our administrative staff on preparing case files for the prosecuting attorney's office. Right now, our CID, they have to make copies of all reports, all videos. They have to download videos down to a DVD or a hard drive and transfer all that to the prosecuting attorney's office. Well, this program is one program where everything is reported in there, everything is dumped into there. It's the office reports, supplemental reports, officers out in the field. If they need to take pictures of evidence, there's an app on their phone they can download and take a picture of the evidence, and it goes directly to this program. So there's no missing evidence, that possibility of missing evidence. Also, it allows us to video redaction. Right now, we have no video redaction capabilities, and that is a problem, especially with a FOIA request. We cannot redact anything in our videos at this current moment, but we get unlimited access to redaction of capabilities with this program. Is there any other questions y'all may have?
Any questions for Chief Chataway?
I can speak on behalf of it. From the Bowie County side, working for Bowie County, we went through flex training, the jail part, and it is amazing how much easier this stuff flows.
Yes.
I mean, it's like going night and day. I mean, it's going to, I think, give the whole police department, whether it be Arkansas, Texas, Bowie County.
Well, it's just going to be the whole program, but this program is just going to be for us.
Correct,
It's going to
correct.
save numerous man-hours
Oh, without
from
a doubt.
detectives and administrative
I
personnel.
mean, it's touch and go. It's
Yes.
really a good program.
Well, this program, we can send one single link to the prosecuting attorney's office, and they can download that link and download all the reports and evidence from that case. There's no.
Encrypted link.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I would like to mention to the board that with this program that he's mentioning also, it will give them a great synchronization capability as well for them to communicate, collaborate, and coordinate, their task at hand out there in the field.
Yes.
So if you will, please take that in accountability.
Absolutely.
And how much is this costing, Chief?
Starting out, it's going to cost 30.
I don't have my
Let me
glasses.
get it. 38,000 starting out the first year. Every other year after that's 27,000 for 5 years.
And how extensive is the training for your officers, your staff, and all that? Is that going?
Well, we've been going through a lot of Motorola Flex training, which is a long process. And this training is provided in this bid. Part of the 9,000 is training for the officers, all the officers in the agency.
Any other questions for Chief Chataway? All right, I'd remind the board, this is an ordinance. It'll need to be read 3 times. What would be the desire of the board to have the ordinance read on its first reading?
First reading, abbreviated form.
Second.
And instruct the city attorney to read the ordinance.
An ordinance waiving competitive bidding, authorizing the purchase of a Motorola RMS CAD upgraded program called Command Central for declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
So the city attorney has read the ordinance. Jenny, will you call the roll? Did that backwards.
Yes. Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts.
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
So the ordinance has been read on its first reading. What would be the desire of the board to read the resolution in its second reading?
Second reading, abbreviated form, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to have it read on its second reading in abbreviated form. Jenny, would you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes.
An ordinance waiving competitive bidding, authorizing the purchase of a Motorola RMS CAD upgraded program called Command Central for declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
So the ordinance has been read on its second reading. What would be the desire of the board to read the ordinance for its third and final reading?
Third reading, abbreviated form.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to have it read in its third and final reading. Any discussion before the board votes? All right, Jenny, would you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts.
Yes.
Director Harris.
Yes.
Director Hollibush.
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes.
An ordinance waiving competitive bidding, authorizing the purchase of a Motorola RMS CAD upgraded program called Command Central for declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
So the city attorney has read the ordinance, and prior to the board voting, is there anyone who wants to speak for or against the ordinance? Anyone who wants to speak for or against? Hearing none and seeing none. Jenny, will you call the roll?
Motion to adopt.
Motion to
Oh,
adopt.
I'm sorry.
Motion to adopt.
I would ask for a motion and a second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt. Jenny, would you call the roll?
Director Brewer.
Yes.
Director Jewell.
Yes.
Director Roberts.
Yes.
Director Harris.
Yes.
Director Hollibush.
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the ordinance passes. This, they have asked for, the applicant has asked for an emergency clause, and I would ask, what would be the desire of the board to,
The emergency, what's the necessity of the emergency clause in case something comes up or?
Because we just discovered this a couple weeks ago, and we're going live with Motorola on around November 5th.
Okay, so.
We've been waiting 2 years to go live.
So
and-
the time is rather important, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
any other questions for Chief Chataway?
Motion to attach.
I've got a motion
Second.
and a second to attach. Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer.
Yes.
Director Jewell.
Yes.
Director Roberts.
Yes.
Director Harris.
Yes.
Director Hollibush.
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the emergency clause is attached. Takes us to item number 8, adopting an ordinance granting the request for prerequisite municipal approval of a private club application for 116 East Broad Street. It's the Eagles Full House on Westmoreland. City Manager Tyler Richards.
This is the private club application that you always see. They have to have the city's approval before they continue the process with the state. I don't believe Mr. Westmoreland's here.
I've spoken with them, and they were unable to be here, but it's the old Peñas building
It's the
on,
one next to that.
is it the one next to
The
it?
Peñas is the one that was destroyed with.
Well, I'm sorry, yeah.
Eagle, right?
It's got the Dr. Pepper sign on the front of it.
It'll
If
be
you
the
don't, it
Eagle,
was
right?
next to
Isn't that what
Peñas.
We're talking about the Eagle.
Oh,
Yeah,
down
it's
here.
the Eagle.
Down here on Broad Street.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the Eagle Bourbon and Wine Bar. They'll have food, stuff, but this is needed before the application is submitted to the Arkansas Alcoholic Beverage Control.
Any other questions for the city manager or the city attorney? I would remind the board that this is an ordinance and it needs to be read 3 times. What would be the desire of the board to have the ordinance read on its first reading?
First reading, abbreviated form.
Second.
Motion and a second to read the ordinance in abbreviated form, first reading. Jenny, can you call the roll?
Director Brewer.
Yes.
Director Jewell.
Yes.
Director Roberts.
Yes.
Director Harris.
Yes.
Director Hollibush.
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes.
An ordinance granting the request for prerequisite municipal approval of a private club application by Nathan Westmoreland as applicant on behalf of Eagles Full House and for other purposes.
The city attorney has read the ordinance on its second reading. What would be the desire of the board to read the resolution in its second reading? Can I get a motion and a second?
Second reading, abbreviated form, please.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Jenny, you want to call the roll?
Director Brewer.
Yes.
Director Jewell.
No.
Director Roberts.
Yes.
Director Harris.
Yes.
Director Hollibush.
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes.
An ordinance granting the request for prerequisite municipal approval of a private club application by Nathan Westmoreland as applicant on behalf of Eagles Full House and for other purposes.
So the city attorney has read the ordinance on its second reading. What would be the desire to have it read on its third and final reading?
Third reading, abbreviated form.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Jenny, we call the roll.
Director Brewer.
Yes.
Director Jewell.
No.
Director Roberts.
Yes.
Director Harris.
Yes.
Director Hollibush. Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes.
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 An ordinance granting the request for prerequisite municipal approval of a private club application by Nathan Westmoreland as applicant on behalf of Eagles Full House and for other purposes. So the city attorney has read the ordinance on its second reading. What would be the desire of the board to have it read on its third and final reading?
Director Brewer.
Yes.
Director Jewell.
Yes.
Director Roberts.
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes. The city attorney has read the ordinance, and it's been read on its third and final reading. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Prior to the board voting, is there anyone wanting to speak for or against this ordinance? Hearing and seeing none, Jenny, call the roll.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the ordinance passes. That takes us to item number 9, which is adopt a resolution authorizing the airport to enter into a contract with McClellan Engineering for the primary runway of 500 feet of extension design Part A. Director Paul.
Good evening. You're going to see that there's multiple parts. This first part was to allow McClellan Engineering to begin doing their initial, I'm spacing the word, their initial work to do the dirt work and surveying. This is being paid for out of a previously approved calendar year 24's capital budget and is being paid out of a grant provided by Congressman Westerman.
Any other questions for Paul?
Paul, is the engineering company, are they local,
McClellan Engineering is out of Little Rock.
Little Rock? Have we used them before? Have you ever?
Yes, we used them extensively with the terminal project.
Paul, just an in general question. We've got, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Have these, usually, does the airport authority normally just approve this? It's been I hadn't been on the whole time I've been on the board, we haven't had that many come before us.
Yes, this is partially because of our recent discussions of making sure that any item that is more than $25,000 is reviewed by and then approved by the two cities.
Okay, so this goes through the airport authority, then comes to both,
That's
both
correct.
the city council and the board for approval.
And yes, and I would expect that you'll see me fairly often.
Okay, I'm with you, because these were already approved in the budget.
That's correct.
Okay,
The way that the city ordinance is written is even if it is approved in the budget, anytime it is over $25,000, I need to bring it back to the city.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you for the foresight and thank you for your integrity. I think we did make that decision.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Paul? This is a resolution. I would instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Texarkana Regional Airport is asking for authorization to enter into an agreement with McClellan Consulting Engineers Incorporated for design and survey services for the primary runway extension design Part A. And whereas the total cost will be $480,376.97, with 90% being paid for by an airport improvement plan grant, and the remaining 10% will be covered by the Arkansas Division of Aeronautics. And whereas there are no local matching funds necessary for this project. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the Texarkana Regional Airport is authorized to enter into an agreement with McClellan Consulting Engineers Incorporated for engineering and survey services for the primary runway extension design Part A in an amount not to exceed $480,376.97. Pass and approve this 21st day of October, 2024.
So the city attorney has read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Move for adoption.
second.
Have a motion and a second. Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the resolution passes. Takes us to number 10, which is also Paul adopting a resolution authorizing the airport to enter into a contract with McClellan Engineering for the primary runway 500 feet extension design Part B. Paul?
This will be for the actual design surfaces of the runway. It will also be paid out of the same grant from Congressman Westerman. It will also be matched by the State Division of Aeronautics with no local matching funds.
Part A.
I have a question just about these being resolutions. and already approved in the budget. In the future, is there any way that this can go into the consent agenda? Because it's already been approved.
Yeah, that's what I mean, that's a,
Yeah, there's no reason we can't put it in the consent agenda.
I mean, if it's approved, we voted on it once.
Yeah.
And if they're just coming back to let us know it's time to do it, I mean, we'd be aware of it in the consent agenda.
Yes, Director Harris.
That's somewhat, I ain't gonna say that was somewhat defeat the purpose of the law that's in place. If we got a law in place that we need to notify that it's over $25,000. But, well, I guess you could see it in the consent agenda, but they ain't stopping nobody from taking it off either, if needed to.
It's the same as if I had a street project in
Yeah, I'm
Public
saying,
Works, when
yeah.
I come to y'all for the engineering agreement.
Yeah, I'm just saying somebody still could take it off.
Yeah, certainly.
I have a quick question. Paul?
Yes, sir.
Part A, that's including dirt work, Part A, dirt work and survey. And Part B is for surfacing, right?
That is correct. So at that point, they were doing the soil sampling, they were doing all the surveys, so that way they could go into the design work of actually what the surfaces will be.
They were certified.
That's correct.
Well, are we still on track for scheduling for all this to take place?
There are going to be certain timing issues that we run into. Part of it will be these approval processes, because an example will be before I can do funding through the state for an environmental study, I will need to take that to my board and then the two cities. As there are a limited number of meetings between the end of the year, there may end up being slight delays, but we'll be able to work through those processes.
So what is the scheduling now for them actually?
So right now, the schedule would be that we would be able to open the runway by January of '27.
No, starting the actual project, actually.
We will
turning-
be,
Great.
the goal will be to break ground in August of next year. So we'll be doing design through the spring. It has a lot of pieces, as we'll be bringing them to you. We have a taxiway, we have the runway overlay, and we're going to be doing the construction kind of all at the same time.
Any other questions for Paul? This is a resolution. I would ask the city attorney to read it.
The Texarkana Regional Airport is asking for authorization to enter into an agreement with McClellan Consulting Engineers Incorporated for design and survey services for the primary runway extension design Part B. And whereas the total cost will be $80,050, with 90% being paid for by an airport improvement plan grant, and the remaining 10% will be covered by the Arkansas Division of Aeronautics. And whereas there are no local matching funds necessary for this project. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the Texarkana Regional Airport is authorized to enter into an agreement with McClellan Consulting Engineers Incorporated for engineering and survey services for the primary runway extension design Part B in an amount not to exceed $80,050, passed and approved this 21st day of October 2024.
City attorney has read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt. Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the resolution passes. That takes us to item number 11 on our agenda. Adopt a resolution authorizing the airport to enter into an agreement with McClellan Consulting Engineers for engineering and survey services for the Apron Phase 2 Construction Part A. And again, Paul.
Thank you. So when we were originally building the apron, it's where the aircraft park at the new terminal building. One of the ways that we worked with the FAA was to break that into several phases. Our first phase was to give us just enough surface area so we could open up the terminal. This second phase will allow us to have parking space for, depending on the size of the aircraft, up to 3 aircraft, and will allow us then to collect landing fees and fuel flowage fees from aircraft that may be displaced by weather. It would then also allow us, if there is any mechanical problems with an aircraft, to be able to pull it off of the gate and have it be maintenanced while another aircraft can use the gate.
So this will give FFA ability to collect those fees?
Oh, it would give us the ability to collect the fees.
Even though FFA is providing 90% of the grant.
Yes, so the FAA would be providing 90% of the cost of this surface. The state will be doing the 10% match. Again, this is a project that was approved in the calendar year capital plan and has no local funds.
Good deal.
Any other questions for Paul? I would ask the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Texarkana Regional Airport is asking for authorization to enter into an agreement with McClellan Consulting Engineers Incorporated for engineering and survey services for the Terminal Apron Phase 2 Construction Part A, which will extend the passenger terminal apron at the airport. And whereas the total cost will be $252,611.87, with the Federal Aviation Administration contributing 90%, and the remaining 10% will be covered by the Arkansas Division of Aeronautics. And whereas there are no local matching funds necessary for this project. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the Texarkana Regional Airport is authorized to enter into an agreement with McClellan Consulting Engineers Incorporated for engineering and survey services for the Apron Phase 2 Construction Part A in an amount not to exceed $252,611.87. Pass and approve this 21st day of October, 2024.
City attorney has read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt. Jenny, we call the roll.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the resolution passes. Takes us to item number 12. Adopt a resolution to approve and accept the FAA Airport Improvement Program grant for Airport Apron Phase 2, Construction Part B. Paul?
So this is actually for the construction portion of that project, and we are receiving then those funds. It's off the top of my head, it's about $1.7 million. And that will be then funded by the FAA. There will be no local match. The remaining match will be covered by the state.
Any questions for Paul? I'd ask the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Texarkana Regional Airport is asking for a resolution from the City of Texarkana, Arkansas to approve and accept the Federal Aviation Administration Airport Improvement Program grant for the Airport Apron Phase 2 Construction Part B, which will extend the passenger terminal apron. And whereas the total cost of construction will be $2,168,610, with the FAA providing a 90% grant, and the remaining 10% will be covered by the Arkansas Division of Aeronautics. And whereas there are no local matching funds necessary for this project. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the FAA Airport Improvement Program 90% grant is hereby approved and accepted. Pass and approve this 21st day of October, 2024.
City attorney has read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt. Jenny, we call the roll.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the resolution passes. Takes us to item number 13 on the agenda, adopt a resolution approving the airport 5-year capital improvement plan. Paul?
All right, so in order to accept federal funds from the FAA, they require every year in October for us to submit essentially a rolling forward 5-year projection of all of the capital projects that we will be doing at the airport. Some of the funds that you'll have seen of were already in 2024 were approved, and then a portion of it was also approved for the 2025 capital plan. Each year, we will bring the individual year for approval from the board during the budget season. You'll see that this is approximately $135 million of capital investment over a 5-year period.
Okay. All right, that's good. They had wanting that foresight to be explained each year, as each phase is being completed.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Any other questions for Paul? I'd ask the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Federal Aviation Administration requires the Texarkana Regional Airport to submit a 5-year capital improvement plan in order to provide the airport federal grant funds for projects. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the fiscal year 2025 to 2030 5-year capital improvement plan attached hereto and made a part hereof is hereby accepted. Pass and approve this 21st day of October, 2024.
City Attorney has read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt. Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the resolution passes. Takes us to item number 14, which is adopting an ordinance to grant an easement on airport property south of East 19th Street, adjoining Chamber of Commerce property to Project Moonbeam to allow access to clear and maintain trees and brush. Paul?
I will say, since I had put this in, Project Moonbeam has been announced as being the Amazon project that is on East 19th Street. When East 19th Street was created, it created a small sliver of property on that south side between the road and the Chamber of Commerce's property. We were requested if the trees and brush could be removed there, so that way, as they develop, they'll be able to have egress that isn't blocked visually. We indicated that they had permission, but we would not be paying to maintain that. So this easement grants them the right to clear those trees in perpetuity.
Any questions for Paul?
I don't have a question for Paul, but I got a comment
Okay.
that about the project.
Is it nice comment?
I guess my comment is 99.9% nice, depending on how you look at it.
Okay.
But I had talked to, I can't think of his name, the guy from Reddit this past, when they had lunch on the lawn about this project, and he stated to me there were going to be about 100 jobs in direct relationship with this project once it get completed. And so it's not going to be big as the one they just not did down in Shreveport, but it's going to be big enough to have at least 100 local people, so.
I'll take it.
Yes.
Any other questions for Paul?
I do have one question. At any point as they, grow this facility or expand, would they want access onto airport property?
We have had discussions with them in the past. At this time, our market isn't large enough, but if we have property available, they are very close to us, as well as FedEx. So there are certainly groups that work in e-commerce that may at a later point wish to have access.
Any other questions for Paul? All right, I'd remind the board that this is an ordinance and it needs to be read 3 times. What would be the desire of the board to have the ordinance read on its first reading?
First reading, abbreviated form.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to read the ordinance in abbreviated form, first reading. Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes.
An ordinance granting a limited easement to Project Moonbeam for the purpose of clearing trees and maintaining airport property south of East 19th Street for declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
The city attorney has read the ordinance. What would be the desire of the board to read the ordinance in its second reading?
Second reading, abbreviated form.
Second.
Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes.
An ordinance granting a limited easement to Project Moonbeam for the purpose of clearing trees and maintaining airport property south of East 19th Street for declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
What would be the desire of the board to read the ordinance on its third and final reading?
Third and final reading, abbreviated form, please.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to read the ordinance on its third and final reading. Is there any other discussion prior to the board voting? Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes. And the ordinance passes. No?
Need a motion for
Emergency.
adoption.
Oh, we have emergency clause. We have a,
No.
hold on there, buddy.
Wait, he's got to read it the third time,
Oh.
and then I need
Well,
a
where's he
motion
at on
and a
that third
second
time
for
there?
adoption.
An ordinance granting a limited easement to Project Moonbeam for the purpose of clearing trees and maintaining airport property south of East 19th Street for declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
The city attorney has read the ordinance. What would be the desire of the board
Motion to adopt.
to adopt?
Let's discuss it a little bit, maybe, before we adopt.
No, we
Right.
adopted to discuss.
This is the point at which we have conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to do the motion now.
So all we're doing in this is just validating what your board has done, just giving them a simple easement when they could go in there and cut down trees and that type of thing, right?
Yes, sir.
That's all we're doing.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't eliminate or limit the cities, the airports,
No,
authorities'
sir.
access to that property at any time we wish to do so, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All right, prior to the board voting, is there anyone wanting to speak for or against it? Hearing none, seeing none, Jenny, call the roll.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts.
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Holovish,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the ordinance passes. The airport has requested an emergency clause. What would be the desire of the board to attach an emergency clause?
Motion to attach the emergency clause.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to attach the emergency clause. Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Holovish,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the emergency clause is attached. Brings us to item 15 on our agenda, which is adopting an ordinance granting right-of-way of easement for SWEPCO to install a transformer on airport property to connect the solar canopy to begin producing electricity. Paul?
So currently, SWEPCO is ready to install the transformer. It has actually already been ordered. They just needed to have a right-of-way easement in order to actually access the property. The transformer will go right next to the solar canopy, allow us to start producing electricity to offset our utility costs, as well as provide electricity for the lights on the entry road.
Why was this not a part of the conversation back months ago when all this was taking place? I mean, this is, right now, we're getting no credit for the electricity uses, for the electric being produced, well, not being produced by the solar array, right? It's sitting there for these months doing nothing, right?
Yes, sir.
And everybody had to know that the transformer had to be put in place and all that. And now, we're just now given an easement, at which time, and then SWEPCO's going to now use our easement to go down there, go in there and place their transformer, which is, and now you just said that it's on order.
They already have it, yes, sir.
They already have it.
Yes, sir.
How long is that going to take? What's the time frame before we're able to get some credit for those solar arrays?
They should be able to install it within 2 weeks.
From today?
From today.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So to give a little background on that, we had an easement previously with SWEPCO, and so we believed that was going to be sufficient. They came back and said as it was a different location, they needed a separate easement for it. We'd already had the easement basically for the transformers that go to the building.
Okay.
So this ended up being another item that we needed. My board only meets once a month, and then it has taken then an additional month to get onto the two cities'
All right.
agendas.
Okay.
So it takes an additional 2 months.
So it's a second, this
Yes,
is,
sir.
okay, so it was anticipated.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions for Paul? Remind the board, this is an ordinance, needs to be read 3 times. What would be the desire of the board to have the ordinance read on its first reading?
First reading of abbreviated form.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for it to be read in its abbreviated first reading. Jenny, can you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Holovish,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes.
An ordinance granting right-of-way and easement to Southwestern Electric Power Company on airport property to connect the solar canopy to a transformer so it can begin producing electricity, for declaring an emergency, and for other purposes.
So the city attorney has read it. What would be the desire of the board to read the resolution in its second reading?
Second reading, abbreviated form, please.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for it to be read in its second reading. Jenny, will you call the row?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes.
An ordinance granting right-of-way and easement to Southwestern Electric Power Company on airport property to connect the solar canopy to a transformer so it can begin producing electricity, for declaring an emergency, and for other purposes.
The city attorney has read it in its second reading. What would be the desire of the board to read the ordinance on its third and final reading?
Third reading, abbreviated form.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to have it read in its third and final reading. Is there any discussion? Jenny, will you call the row?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes.
An ordinance amending, an ordinance granting,
I have no idea what just happened, so go ahead.
an ordinance granting right-of-way and easement to Southwestern Electric Power Company on airport property to connect the solar canopy to a transformer so it can begin producing electricity, for declaring an emergency, and for other purposes.
So the motions have been read on its third and final reading. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Prior to the board voting, is there anyone wanting to speak for or against the ordinance? Hearing and seeing none, Jenny, call the row.
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
No.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the ordinance passes. The airport has requested an emergency clause. What would be the desire of the board to attach an emergency clause?
Motion to attach.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to attach and approve of emergency clause. Jenny, will you call the row?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
No.
Director Hollibush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and the emergency clause is attached.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
Paul. This takes us into our Board of Directors commentary. Is there any Board of Directors that want to speak to the public?
Well, you guided us through the meeting. Thank you.
I tell you, 15 items on the agenda is tough, and thank you, Jenny, and City Attorney, City Manager, and you guys for hanging in there with us. Thank you all out in the crowd for hanging in there with us. It's a long agenda, and I thought we would be here till 9, but praise the Lord, it's 7:30. Amen. So
Wait.
maybe Jack in the Box only has 5 cars when I go by there.
And don't last.
So Director Brewer's got something he wants to,
Hey. Second first.
Just want to make an announcement for Ward 4. Keep in mind, Ward 4 is bordered by the west side of State Line and the east side of State Line and the west side of Jefferson. Also by the south area of 19th Street, the Realtor Road. Right now, we have a tentative ward meeting scheduled for November 9th at 10 p.m. More information to follow. Thank you.
Did you say 10 p.m.?
AM, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the clarification. 10 a.m., November 9th. Thank you.
we're not perfect, we're not perfect. Director Harris, you got something?
Yes, lately I've been asked a lot as to how much we is getting paid up here. And
Show your checks.
Did you say how much we're getting paid?
yeah.
So how much, I know what I'm getting paid, I don't know what you
I
are.
just need to give the public the Arkansas Code 1447114. Basically said no payment for city director position. So, but I am gonna say this, that the city of Hot Spring is working on a project trying to get it fixed where city director can get paid. And I think I had a talk not too long ago with the lady that pushing the resolution, and I told her they need to go through the Arkansas Municipal League then once they agree to it, some senator or representative may pick it up. And then if y'all want to talk to our two representatives here, Ms. Darby and Hickey, as Hickey, do they want to join in on that? And so, and like I say, I don't know why that's coming up, but they just asked me how much I'm getting paid. I guess it could be something else, but that may be a political statement, and I don't want to get into that.
Well, I'll make one. It may be political, but my pay is satisfied citizens. That's my pay.
So I don't want to get into that.
Can only go downhill from here.
And then my other question is that I keep on thinking about the public work, but I said the manager that this past Sunday, I was over there on Senator Street, and they was asking me when the city gonna come over there and do them potholes over there on Senator Linda and Grand Street between 9th Street and Broad Street. And I told them, I emailed, I said the manager back in, and I think I put in a request back in June on this, and they just wanna know why is this taking so long. And I told them I would bring this up at the board meeting, and y'all
Three city
watching it.
managers ago.
Huh?
Back in June was 3 city managers.
I know,
ago.
but I also just text him a while back. I knew the city manager about this, so. But it's also was put on our city website. That's where I turn my stuff in too. You know, the city got a website where you can go to public works section and you can make a public request, and that's what it initially was we done that. But they just want to know why this haven't been done, so you can tell me now, you can tell me after the meeting, I tell them.
I got your text the other day. We've got a work order in for it. I'm not sure where we are on the list. I'll have to look and find out, but I've got no idea off the top of my head. But I'll look into it and see about how long it's going to take us to get there.
I got a chance to represent the city of Texarkana, Arkansas on Saturday at the Katina R. Livingston Tough Cookie Breast Cancer Race. And I want to say that it was well attended, but I want to encourage all women to get checked. And if you do have an issue, early detection is the key. And so with that, breast cancer awareness, again, we encourage everyone to, all ladies to get checked with that. Anybody else?
I've got one thing. This weekend, there's going to be a food truck festival at Bobby Ferguson Park, and that will include hot air balloons. They're going to do a glow show and tethered rides. And there's a long list of vendors that are going to be out there. That's going to be at Bobby Ferguson, and I believe it starts at 11 a.m. So that'll go from 11 to 8, and they're going to have a good time out there.
Come on out.
Anybody else?
Well, I'm gonna have to throw in for the pets over here now. There's going to be a costume contest for your pets at the Animal Care and Adoption Center from 11 to 2 this Saturday. So you can go out there, and then you can go out there and eat. But there's going to be prizes for the best dressed cats or dogs out there, so you can bring your pets. We're using this as an event to actually promote the adoption of our animals that we have out there. So come look around, and you may say something you just have to take home with you.
Any other directors want to address the public?
I think we're good.
All right, that would take us to the next meeting, which would be Monday, November 4th. Monday, November 4th. As always, we meet at 6 p.m. here at City Hall. That would take me into a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to adjourn. Jenny, will you call the roll?
Director Brewer,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Director Hollybush,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Yes, and we are adjourned.